brain education graduates. When I started this position a year ago, I had to come into this building and to feel myself answering questions about the Mind Brain Education program for the Harvard Graduate School of Education website. One of the questions was, what are the 3 words you would use to describe a student in your program? I hadn't met any MBE students yet, and I did what I do best when I don't know the answer to a question. I skipped it. Now, a year later, I know exactly how to answer this question. I think about all of you whom had the pleasure and privilege to meet this year, and many words come to mind. I think about how passionately you engaged in discussions, raising concerns about issues of equity and opportunity in research and practice. So one word is passionate. You chose a program that applies basic scientific methods across multiple disciplines, like neuroscience and psychology, to tackle the challenges in educating and bettering the lives of children. This was a challenging feat that required you to step far outside your comfort zones and learn entirely new disciplines. So a second word is bold. You asked many questions, dug deep into literature, attended numerous courses, lectures, and workshops, shuttling among the multiple academic institutions in Boston. You interned in hospitals and community centers, and you worked in research labs, committed to advancing your learning. So a third word is inquisitive. John Dewey, a renowned educational philosopher, said, "Education is a social process. Education is growth. Education is not preparation for life, but is life itself." In this past year of your education at Harvard, first and foremost, you learned from each other. You have enriched each other with your amazing life stories, professional experiences, unique perspectives, your cultures, your opinions, observations. You supported each other through moments big and small. You've built a long-lasting community that is beautiful in its diversity, invigorating in its intellectual capital and its creativity, and inspiring in its commitment and dedication. I know that together you will be able to tackle the seemingly insurmountable educational challenges facing our society today. Together, you are unstoppable. Education is a social process. Education is growth. Growth takes courage, patience, and a ton of hard work. You enrolled in classes despite your doubts in your own abilities to succeed, but you proved yourself wrong. You took classes because you wanted to get back to the students you teach and make a measurable change in their lives. You took classes simply because you were interested. You took classes because we made you to, and you discovered passions and new superpowers. You worked very hard, you grew, and I hope you are very proud of yourselves. I know that I am. Every graduate enters a new phase in their lives, but you are entering a whole new world. Life itself happened while you were here at HGSE. It happened big time. In the face of this, you showed resilience. You persevered, you got through, and you adapted. You're not the same as you were before the pandemic. You are stronger. Education is life itself. No matter if your next career move is to go back to teaching, start graduate or medical school, to assume an educational leadership role, to work in policy, advocacy, or to develop new technologies. Your HGSE education carries with it the burden of responsibility. Similar to the oath that the medical students take at the conclusion of their studies, that dates back to the time of Hippocrates, I encourage you to articulate the principles that will guide you in your journey as educational professionals. Promise yourselves to serve the mission of educational improvement by using your knowledge and skill, by challenging your biases and assumptions, by honoring everyone's stories and experience, by letting principles of justice and equity guide your actions, and by continuing to advance your education and helping others to do the same. Promise yourselves to do no harm. I'm going to conclude with some inspiring words of advice. Read the literature, inspect statistical models, evaluate effect sizes, examine sample compositions, and look for replications. Question everything and seek empirical evidence always. I know there is no glamour in evidence-based practice, but this is the only way to do no harm in education. And as the graduates of the Harvard Graduate School of Education and of the Mind-Brain Education program, I know that this is the only way you will choose to practice. And now, the graduates of the Mind, Brain, and Education program. The Intellectual Contribution Award recipient for the Mind, Brain, and Education program, Sam Ziam Chen. Zareen Ali. Aprotim Corey Bomek. Ian Lawrence Bott. Joyce Corral Clennon. Emmanuel Daring. Yifan Fu. Samantha McKeon Gilbert. Andrea Green. Nicole Elizabeth Green. Surab Harihar. Kelly Brooke Harrington. Benjamin Anderson Hill. Sapphire Ho. Alicia Marie Johnson. Abdullah Ali Khan. Sarah Margaret Makia. Abigail Grace McBride. Christy Olivia Moy. Eliza Ringer. Carson Rogi. Amanda K. Skadden. Preksha Singh. Felicia Somariono. Joseph Wagner. Yang Xiang. And the Marshal for the Mind, Brain, and Education program, Atfar Muzaffar. Congratulations, graduates of the Mind, Brain, and Education program. When we began this year, I hoped it would be a memorable one for you. I'm not sure how much I had to do with it, but I'm certain this is a year that none of us will ever forget. We did have some remarkable speakers in our seminar after all. Best wishes to all of you, your families, friends, and communities. I hope that you take some time to celebrate your remarkable achievements and to acknowledge all of those who supported you along the way.